Hey everybody, welcome to Snow Talk on this Thursday. I do want to mention real quick, I will be out tomorrow. I'll be back next week, but if I see anything interesting, of course, I'll be on social media and let you know. Alright, on the snowboard, we do have still that chance for rain ending as a bit of snow on Thursday. And then we get into a setup on Saturday. Still questionable. I'll explain that in more detail today. And then I'll hint to the other stuff toward the end of the month and beginning of February. First off, let's get to the warmer side of things, and that is this warm front approaching the area. Rain breaking out, at least on the radar. A lot of it is being ate alive by the dry air that's still in place. It's not overly dry, not excessive, but it is dry enough that it's limiting the leading edge here, but that will change as the day wears on. In fact, there's a lot of rain coming our way, and even some severe weather this morning in Mississippi. But this slug of moisture is heading our direction, and looks like the peak will be toward this afternoon. Here is Futurecast. Shows we got a southeast wind. Anytime you see a southeast wind, or east-southeast, especially in our area, it's a good sign that warm fronts are approaching the area. And sure enough, that'll be the case. So it's going to be a slow climb today into the upper 40s, and then we'll get into the 50s later on as the warm front approaches. The rain chance will then spike just ahead of the front, and then as we get into the evening and overnight period, as the warm front approaches the area, we'll pick up on the heaviest of rain, and even some lightning and thunder could take place as temperatures actually rise close to 60 in some spots. Mumfordville up to 61 at that point, and then we'll see the rain really taper off for the morning commute. It should be northeast of our area, in fact, but just leftover drizzle as we head throughout the day on Friday. But we're going to stay in that warm southwest flow the entire time on Friday, and that will keep us warming despite a lot of clouds and even some drizzle. All right, so really this is going to be a nocturnal event on this rain event coming our way in the short term. Now, it did, you look at the image there on Futurecast, you're like, oh man, is this going to be severe weather tonight with this warm front? That's something we always have to watch around here. Typically, in warm fronts, you get what we call elevated thunderstorms. They don't have the ability to get all those stronger winds to the ground level. And when I looked at the profile here for the wind speeds around midnight, they're about 30, 35 knots showing up. So the winds will likely ramp up tonight as the warm front moves through, but nothing excessive. So I don't see any risk at this point of anything severe. So just a heavy rainmaker. Then we get into Saturday and Sunday, Monday. This low, it's been talked about for a while, moves across the lower 48. Certainly a bigger deal for the southeast part of the country. I mean, the amount of lift and shear ahead of this front is going to, or low pressure is going to be impressive for the deep south. So this is an area that's really going to be bracing for severe weather. Looks like to be more than likely I-20 and I-10. Those are the two interstates that I think will feel the greatest effect of severe weather as we head into this weekend. Multiple rounds, too, because not just one low, really. There's a lead low that come in on Saturday, and there's another low as we head into, really, on Sunday into Monday. So there's a couple of impulses moving through that will keep the severe risk, and one will actually affect the other. So there is some doubt here. It's not just because if it was just one mega low, confidence, I'm sure, would be a lot higher on severe potential. But because you have multiple lows, one could affect the other as far as raining out the second one and preventing it from becoming that unstable. For us, I think it's going to be more of an issue. The second low we need to watch for maybe some heavier rain. Now, the models have been trending south, keeping the most of the core of the rain. Again, there's going to be a circle of rain where the low pressure is, and the northern part of that we call the deformation zone, usually in the wintertime. I mean, this would be a great spot for us to be for a extremely heavy snow event. But instead, it's too warm and it will be rain. I know, I can hear the boos already. But here is the NAM model, which is trying to take the low more to the north than it is south, and that could put the deformation zone into wave country. So we have to watch it for enhanced rain totals. It's still a big if, but that will be a determining factor. And this is a potent low, 983 millibars. It's certainly going to be windy and some heavy rain with this, so I can understand the severe risk on the south side of it. So that is an issue we'll be watching for Sunday. We still have a chance to match the record high on Saturday. I don't see it being completely dry. I think an isolated thunderstorm chance has to remain in there because we do have so much warmth at play, and there is an impulse moving through just to our south that could easily spark a thunderstorm locally. So we can't take the rain chance out on Saturday, but Sunday into early Monday I think still looks to be a higher chance. Then we get into next Wednesday. I talked about the sun yesterday with the blocking. Let me show you more of the setup on the weather features themselves at the surface level. Low pressure moving by as we head into Wednesday. It'll have a cold front with it. This looks to be a rain event, probably in the 60s again. Rain could end as a bit of snow, but that's not a big deal. The atmosphere may end up drying out before the cold air catches up to it. But what I'm watching to see is whether or not we can get a low pressure to develop. This is a very common pattern with this kind of a setup. where you get low pressures develop in the southern flank of the trough, and then they ride up the East Coast. And the models are not exactly showing. The Euro teased us with it last night or yesterday afternoon, and it's still hinting at it. In fact, and then we have another impulse too. By the way, it drops in behind that. But for the low pressure next week, are we going to see one develop? Here's the ensembles from the Euro, and you can see that it hints at that secondary low trying to form over the Smoky Mountains. Here's your main low for Wednesday into Thursday, but it's trying to hint that a secondary low forms. And when you look at the ensembles for snowfall potential, and I know this is hard to read, you can see a few of these that also show that potential for a snowy path to perhaps work its way into the area. So we'll see how it plays out. Still early in the game. The only thing that it's working against it, in my opinion, is the NAO, which is a good blocking factor. But usually when you get into a positive NAO, systems tend to be a little more certainly progressive. And so it'd be a much harder deal to get it to go up the coast. But everything else looks good. It's the NAO that worries me. So, there's nothing showing a snowstorm or anything like that. Let me be clear. It's just something I'm trying to discuss with you guys. That's what the blog's about. I discuss the weather patterns and let you all know what's in my head, and we'll see how it plays out, or I'll end up being completely out in left park, or left field. I'll get it right. Which happens many times. All right, guys. Have a good weekend. I will see you guys coming up on Monday.